Hello and welcome to our channel. So, could we live in Mexico City? That's the question that we'll answer today as we go over some of the pros and cons of the time that we spent in Mexico City. So, some pros. Cleanliness.
Yeah, Mexico City was very, very clean. I didn't know really what to expect going in, but it's an extremely clean city for the size of the city, the amount of people in the city. We constantly saw people cleaning the sidewalks. They were always out every single morning sweeping the sidewalks.
Mm-hmm. And the city there's a lot of dogs in the city. You're constantly seeing people walking, a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
And there were no dog poop on the sidewalks.
No, it's very clean.
And every morning there's people sweeping and throughout the day.
Yeah.
So the sidewalks are very clean. There's not even trash cans available.
No, there aren't many trash
easily.
cans available, for public trash cans available in Mexico City, but that doesn't seem to be a deterrent. People
Correct.
carry it home, I guess, and there's not trash.
No trash, very clean. Second on the pros list is the lower cost of living. Mexico City was very affordable for our time there, especially, of course, when you compare it to other big cities in the U.S.
Yeah, in the U.S. or across the world, most big cities, usually they're more expensive. Now, Mexico City is the most expensive city in Mexico, but it's affordable on the U.S. dollar for sure. You can take a look at our previous video where we talk about the cost of living in Mexico City.
Next on the pros list is Mexico City is rich in culture. We loved being part of that energy. They really have embraced their indigenous roots. You can see in a lot of the displays and museums a lot of the history dating back to Mesoamerican and Aztecs and all of that.
Exactly. Even the street art, you see a lot of the street art is dedicated to indigenous roots as well.
While we were there, we were part of the eclipse that was happening, and part of the display that they had was a performance by some of the indigenous tribes.
Yeah.
So you can see it throughout the city. You can't miss that culture that they just have embraced.
Not at all. It's very deep rooted. It's awesome to see. Yeah.
Next on the pros list is museum access. The museums have a lot of free days that are available. There's tons of museums in Mexico and they're great.
Excellent quality museums.
And you can pay for them, of course, but once a week there's usually a day. I think it's about once a week.
Yeah, once a week. Most of the museums offer a free day.
Right. Sometimes the free day is only available to citizens and residents, but sometimes there are some free days that are available to all. And it was so cool to be able to go into these museums. There's so many.
There are so many museums, and the quality of the museums are awesome. And just going back to the last point, as far as the indigenous roots, a lot of the museums have explanations of those indigenous roots, and it's very, very interesting to visit the museums and to learn about the history of the culture.
Correct.
Yeah.
You see it everywhere. It's great.
It is. For being such a large city, I was pleasantly surprised that Mexico City is full of trees and parks. It's a fairly green city, and everywhere we walked, we were surrounded by trees.
Lots of shade when we were walking around because of all the trees.
Absolutely. We try to step to the shaded side if we're going to walk a long stretch down the street, and we found shade on both sides most of the time because of all the trees. So it was really pleasant to see that, and there are a lot of big parks as well. Chapultepec Park, which is a gigantic park, but there are a lot of smaller parks that are a nice little refuge away from the sun and the busy streets too.
It seems like almost every neighborhood there's a neighborhood park.
Yeah.
Because in our neighborhood there was a couple. The next neighborhood over San Rafael there was a park there. It's like everywhere we went, there seemed to be a park.
A simple little park, some benches, a play area for the kids. It was really nice to see that in such a big city.
Now, their parks is more of the big trees, but not green grass. So that's the only difference. But lots of parks, and the neighborhood, people come out. You'll see them in the afternoons, you'll see them throughout the day. People really use these parks.
Absolutely. Next up on our list of pros is the transportation. Access to public transportation is really amazing in Mexico City, and it's very affordable.
Yes.
And you have the buses and the metro and the cable bus as well, which you can see in a previous video that we did about Mexico City. Then obviously there's also Uber, there's rideshare apps as well. Uber is available and very, very affordable.
Yeah, and if you want to get out of Mexico City and you want to travel to other cities in Mexico.
Mexico City has multiple bus terminals on each end of the city, and depending on what area in Mexico you're trying to visit, it's guaranteed that a bus terminal, you'll be able to take a bus from one of the bus terminals to visit that city.
We took a bus to Teotihuacan pyramids, and that's about as far out as we got out of the city. But we went to the North Bus Terminal, and this terminal is pretty impressive. There are so many bus routes and different bus companies, and people can go to so many places. It was pretty cool.
It was impressive. I didn't know what to expect. You think a bus terminal, I didn't think much of it, but it was huge.
This is definitely you can tell that this is a way that people get to places from Mexico City. They definitely use this.
It's well connected.
Next on the list of pros is the healthcare. It is very accessible and very affordable. We noticed that most, if not all, the pharmacies had a clinic attached to them where you can see a doctor. The prices are posted, they are very affordable, easy to access, and luckily we never needed this service. We didn't need to see a doctor, but again, all over the city there's tons of pharmacies with this service. And of course you also have your big hospitals as well.
And they were right next to the pharmacy, and we noticed a price of 50 pesos, which is about $3
for like a doctor consult.
And it's the simple things. It's your common cold, it's a little scrape or a cut. It's not
an urgent care,
more of an urgent care issue. Exactly.
We did get dental cleanings while we were in Mexico, and also very accessible, very affordable. We didn't have to wait long for an appointment. They were able to see us right away.
In fact, when we determined which dentist we wanted to see, they could have gotten us in the same day. The prices were very affordable, and the cleaning was excellent. We received excellent care, excellent service. Another pro about Mexico City is, of course, the food. The food is amazing in Mexico City. I mean, from the local dishes, of course, the tacos and the mole and the flautas. And there's just so much. The chilaquiles. I love the chilaquiles. Couldn't get enough chilaquiles.
It is so delicious. But you can also get international foods. So whatever you're into that you want, you can get.
Whatever you're craving, you can get. If there's a day that you don't want to have tacos and you want to have sushi, you'll be able to find it. We had sushi, we had Thai food, we had Italian food.
Pizza. It was, and all really good and affordable as well.
And there were some excellent little bakeries too.
Oh my God, the bakeries are so good. Nice. And the all the types of baked goods that they have, your croissants and breads and conchas. So yummy. So definitely the food is a pro here. How can it not be, right? Access to fresh tortillas. There's like tortilla spots, and that's all they're doing is tortillas all day, and you get fresh tortillas.
We went to buy fresh tortillas, and we got like a hot off the tortilla machine tortilla, and the gentleman handed each of us a tortilla, and it's so hot you can barely handle it. It was really cool to experience that.
And also, the fruits and vegetables in Mexico are next level. I mean, they are so fresh, flavorful, colorful, delicious. The fruit was just like
amazing.
Perfect.
It was perfect.
So, food definitely a pro here. Mexico's got it down.
They got it down for sure.
So those are the things that we loved about Mexico City, but just like any city, there are definitely cons. Mexico City is a very big city, and of course, not everything is perfect. Starting with air quality. We were there during the dry season, so no rain, and the air quality was pretty poor.
Yeah.
We felt it.
Yeah, we did.
So we decided to walk around, especially if we were going to be out for a long time, we would wear masks.
Yeah, we had never experienced that before, and it was a strange feeling, but you could feel it. And we would use some apps on our phones and check and see what the air quality was. That unfortunately is a con for Mexico City. It's a large city, and there is air pollution there. Yeah, I think that the time of the year, like she said, played a large role. As soon as the rains start to come in, it will clean the air. And
it helps.
It helps out a lot, yeah. Next up on the cons list is going to be the seismic risk. We were only a few days into our stay, and we were sitting on the couch watching TV, and we heard a strange alarm. We didn't know what it was, and a minute or two later we glanced outside, and there was a row of people all up and down the street outside. So we thought, well, we should probably go outside. We didn't know what it was.
What was going on.
What was going on. So we went outside, and by then people were starting to filter back into the buildings, but we had asked some locals, and sure enough, it was the seismic alarm.
Yes, the earthquake alarm went off, so everyone had to go out to the streets.
Yeah, so it's a very real thing, and it just reminded us. And then multiple times throughout our visit, we did not have that alarm go off in our building, just that one time. But multiple times throughout our visit, we would see news stories about seismic activity that was occurring. And no big earthquakes occurred while we were there, but it's a risk, and it's there. And it's just part of life there.
Correct. And something we didn't even think about, but once that happened, we were reminded of the risk, and we were like, oh wow, okay, we have to be careful with this, and then keep an ear out for that alarm.
Yeah, you just never know.
Next on the list of cons for Mexico City is the water. The drinking water is not necessarily a big deal. You buy the garrafon and you exchange it when you're done at the local convenience stores. We had a couple of them right down from our building, and it was kind of easy for us to exchange and get our drinking water. No one in Mexico really drinks the water anyway, so they know and precautions are taken for the drinking water. When you go out to restaurants, the ice they serve you, all of that, precautions are in place. You're not getting served bad water.
No.
But it is an issue there. One of the biggest things that is happening over there is a shortage of water, especially because we were there during the dry season. That did not help. So we had a couple of instances where our garrafon was empty. We needed to go and exchange it, and water had not arrived to the convenience stores, so they were unable to exchange our garrafon.
Yeah, the couple of stores that were downstairs, they would get a water truck. Typically every day a water truck would come, but there were a couple of occasions where that truck didn't come, and we needed water. And I mean, not the biggest deal. We can just walk down to Walmart and buy a smaller jug, but that was a concern, and it was a bit of a hassle.
Yeah, it did happen a couple of times. One time we only had to wait a couple of hours for the truck to arrive. Another time we didn't have that option until the following day.
Yeah.
So
and that's your drinking water, and you can't drink the tap water, so you need water.
Yeah. And we also had an outage of water in our building. And luckily, it only lasted a few hours, where they had to come and refill the tanks.
We contacted the Airbnb host, and he was already aware of it. And apparently there was a truck on the way already. So it wasn't a big deal. But water shortage in Mexico City is an ongoing concern.
We don't know if Mexico is going to take steps to remedy this somehow. We don't know, but we hope they do.
The next con on our list for Mexico City is the noise. We love busy, bustling cities, and there's signs of life, and there's just so much going on everywhere. But Mexico City is a very noisy city. There's noise all the time. And
it is just relentless. It just doesn't end. From morning all the way to night, there's always somebody going by, ringing a bell, making an announcement. You just want to get a break sometimes.
Sometimes you want to get a break from the noise, and then even when the noises of the day stop, if you're close to a roadway, you get a lot of noise at night from the vehicles.
Yes.
So it's a noisy city.
It's a big
warm.
city.
Yeah.
It doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of noise.
Yeah. The last item on our cons list is going to be regarding safety in Mexico City. Now, in our bubble, in our community, in our colonia where we stayed, Colonia Cuauhtémoc, and the surrounding areas, we felt extremely safe. We never felt like we were in any type of danger. We were out from early in the morning to later in the evening after dark, up until about 10 o'clock. But that was kind of our cutoff. We have no reason to stay out later than that, and after dinner, after
And we
a show,
don't do that often. We try to be home by
Before
the time
dark.
it gets dark.
Yeah.
But safety definitely seemed to be a concern in the country.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did when we got to Mexico is we would watch Spanish television so that we can immerse ourselves more, see what's happening in the country. And
I'm learning Spanish. I'm at a pretty decent level of Spanish, so I could understand for the most part what was going on. So it was interesting to just see what was going on in the country. And this news was a whole country news. It wasn't just
national
Mexico
news.
City, so it was a national news.
And we noticed a lot in the news, a lot of people complaining about safety, a lot of petty crime and all kinds of different crime throughout the country. And
citizens were concerned for safety.
So definitely safety seems to be an issue in the country. Again, we were perfectly fine in our area. So that's our list of pros and cons from our perspective during our time that we spent in Mexico. So could we live there? No. Unfortunately, we feel that some of these cons are quite big.
They're too heavy. They're too big. Yeah.
And living there permanently, it would be very difficult for us to overcome these obstacles. Absolutely love this country.
Yes.
There is so much there that you can explore. The culture is amazing. The people are great. And we definitely want to visit again.
We can't wait to go back to Mexico City and spend an extended period of time like we did. We were there 3.5 months this time, and we'd love to go back for an extended period of time. And definitely visit all the different areas in Mexico. It's an awesome, very diverse country.
So definitely visit. Unfortunately, we can't live there. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of our content, please subscribe to our channel.
And slow travel with us.
Bye.